All right, welcome back. So we're picking up where we left off, basically, where we had code to make a HTTP request to the login Questrade endpoint. We have query arguments to pass the refresh token. So this URL is much like this URL here, where we have grant type refresh token, and then we pass refresh token and a refresh token. Cool. Then we do the requests. We're using orcs here. So with URL, with query, we pass the refresh token that we get passed here. JSON options. So we deserialize it with JSON, and now we're going to go further in this. And then we create a context with the HTTP client. We pass a request token that we have to change every time for now, but we're going to set up that mechanism to at least persist it for now, just so it can be less annoying. And then we execute this. So we build the result task, we await it with the awaited result. We pattern match if it's a successful command, we return OK, and then we just output it. So we're not actually outputting. This is the basically an FSharp directive. This is basically it. So whatever the last expression of your script returns, it'll output in a kind of a neat way. This isn't so neat, but if you have like tables and collections and stuff, it's much neater. So we will explore that a little bit more. But that's basically it. So we can actually put this in a result. So the auth response, I'll call it for now. I'll just put this here, and we're going to do the rest synchronously, not synchronously. We could do it async, but for the purposes of today, we're just going to do it like that. And what I'm going to do is, firstly, I need to just swap this out. So this is the next refresh token to call it to use. And what I'm going to do is, we're going to deserialize this response to have a FSharp record type for it. And so we're going to explore how to do that with the JSON serializer options. There's a few ways we can do this. So let's actually define a type for this response. So we can go ahead and do that. Ideally, let's just copy this content on the other thing so we can see it at the same time. Oh, that is not helpful at all. Turn on word wrap, I guess. So that's 1, 2. All right, so the crucial information we need in this would be the access token, the API server. We don't really need this, expires then, I feel. Refresh token. So these are the 3 we need. So let's build a type with that. And there's a few ways we can go about this. So when we want to deserialize, we need to match the names of the fields. There's multiple ways we can do this. So let's go with it. So Questrade, or let's type it out for now. Questrade auth response, and we have an access token. So here's the thing: there's 2 ways we can do this. We probably need to match the names. So we can do it like that, and do a string. Or since it probably uses reflection, what we can do if we really want to have our field name differently than the field here, we can probably add an annotation with compiled name. So compiled name, and then you give it the name of the field in the JSON. So what that's going to do is when it's compiled, and instead of having this name in the intermediate language, it's going to have this name. And the reason why we might want that is if we're using reflection, So reflection, and this is probably a longer topic to go into reflection, but reflection is basically looking at assemblies and looking at classes that are already compiled. And that's kind of or it's looking at type information, I should say. And serialization normally uses reflection to populate the fields and stuff. And so when it's looking at this type, it's actually looking at what's compiled, the compiled type. And yeah, so we can probably use this, but this is probably overkill. We probably don't need to, because we're going to have another type that better represents what we want, with maybe stronger types instead of string. Maybe we want its own type, so we can clearly document what kind of string it is. And so let's try both, just to make sure for the viewers that it works.
No.
So if I copy this, and I'm going to have an API server. Whoop. API server. And I should probably call it API_server here, and refresh token. So refresh token, and we're going to call this refresh token. Cool. And okay, so I have a type now. So this is actually generic. This is a generic method. It doesn't appear as though, but if you look at the documentation, it is. So if we pass a type here, Questrade auth response, let's see if it compiles. And obj, let's just yellow it and see. Unexpected symbol in burger pattern, input 3838. Where are my line numbers? Oh, there. The non-generic type, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this one's non-generic. It doesn't expect type arguments, so let me look at the documentation I was looking at. Okay, so I'm in the source code here, and yeah, I made a mistake. I need to put the type annotation on the JSON call here, so it's here. It's not actually on the options itself. So if I put it here, it should work. So here I should be getting in response, I get an A for now, but maybe that's just the compiler, not unexpected pattern, infix. T result. So this looks fine. Okay, it's here. Here's the problem. This is no longer generic, right? Because now we set the generic type of the request, and this is no longer a generic method. It always will return a Questrade auth response. So that's why it now works. So it's cool. Now this doesn't return anything anymore. So it compiles, but it doesn't return anything because we set this response to auth response. So we can simply do this, but I will presume that this isn't going to work because we just made a call, and now we lost the refresh token. So it's kind of annoying to work with, but we're going to deal with that soon. Yeah, so now we have the same exception we had previously. So I'm going to restart with a new refresh token, so 1 sec. All right, so I set a new request token from the API. Now if I execute this, everything's null. Okay, so we probably did something wrong here. Probably it's not picking up the compiled names, so I'll try again with... All right, so I spent a little bit of time scrambling around. And what I found was, oh, I actually should go to that page. So there's actually a blog post made by Compositional IT, which is a really good blog. They kind of mentioned that in script files, deserialization does not work with System.Text.Json. So that's kind of an important thing to note. And so I tried using another deserializer. So ThoughtJSON.net is a very popular deserializer in FSharp. It's commonly used in the Fable land. Most libraries use it. Like I think Fable Remoting uses it. And yeah, so you can have customized decoders which are like deserializers, if you will. And yeah, now I'm trying out. So I just got it to compile behind the scenes. So basically what I did is I did Decode, auto generate decoder. So basically this JSON field now takes a decoder. So what's happening here is this JSON function is actually given to us from this namespace. So this is a response reader, and depending on what deserializer you're using, you'll have a different JSON function. And so this one takes a decoder of T result and returns a HTTP handler. The other one used to return something else. And so we have to pass it a decoder, and I didn't want to write a decoder, so there's an auto decoder. That's pretty cool. So I can try out a generated decoder. I don't know if this works or not. And I have to generate an auth token again. That's kind of annoying, so I'll do that. All right, so I generated a new token here, and let's YOLO this. So JSON decode, exception was thrown. Okay, so I managed to get a bit of a better error response. It says error at refresh token, expecting a string but got null, but it's looking for capital refresh token. So I have a feeling our compiled names here aren't working. So the other thing I want to try is I'm going to try to add a case strategy to thought, or thoth. So here, auto decoder can take a case strategy. So it's an optional argument that will applies to keys. So maybe snake case here can apply. So snake case, so here, they are passing case strategy camel case. And what that's doing is it's taking raw, so here ID is lowercase, but when they pass the camel case strategy, it gets transformed to or it doesn't get transformed, it gets interpreted as a camel case. So I'm thinking here, what we can do is we can actually just pass a function that takes JSON and one sec, where's my sideways scroll bar? Jesus. I'll do this instead. Here we'll pass JSON, but we'll also pass case strategy is equal to snake case, and this might work. Now I have to recreate a refresh token. One sec. Okay, so if I run this. This expression is this half type here has string. Oh yeah, generate decoder. Yeah, does generate decoder take a? Okay, so maybe it doesn't take that. Maybe I can just do this. Maybe this can work. Victory! All right, cool. So now we get our object here, our record type from strings. And so yeah, it did take a bit to investigate, but at least, you know, we have a bit of learning. So I'm not used to using these frameworks. Like I used to use Newtonsoft.Json and, you know, the kind of older frameworks, but these kind of newer frameworks I'm still getting accustomed to, so that's why I kind of look like a noob here. So here, what's happening is I generate a decoder. So basically, thoth, JSON.net, is a serializing and deserializing framework or library to deserialize and serialize stuff from JSON to FSharp, and it's very FSharp driven. Like if you look at the documentation, it supports discriminated unions. You can customize a lot of things. It offers an automated decoder, and in our case, the automated decoder works very well because the names of our fields are compatible with the JSON. We use a case strategy that's called snake case. So what that is the decoder is going to know that the JSON is in snake case, which is underscores between the words, and it knows how to convert those strings into camel case, because here's camel case. So we start with a capital letter, and each word starts with a camel letter. So that's camel case, and that generates an object. So this isn't a string, this is an object, and you know that because, well, A, you can look at the code, and B, yeah, that's just what the code written. So if I highlight this is a Questrade auth response, and cool. So now that we have an auth response, I'm gonna copy this code, this token, and I'll put it safely here. All right, but let's check this in, or we should probably not check in the refresh token, but so I'll do like x for now. It's not the best way to do it, but I'll just do that for now.